we're finding some great innovation happening in care and caregiving, and would like to share that with you today. So I want to start by setting the landscape of what's happening in care and caregiving, and what is driving the change and behind these digital trends. And one of the first things is that the enterprise digital transformation, what's happening in hospitals and healthcare in general, and education institutions and banking and education, is shifting. As they automate and get all of their data in one place, it's actually shifting the responsibility of managing data to the individual. I don't know how many of you in the last 6 months, but I know for me, at least 3 or 4 times in the last month, just managing my family, and that would include my pets, my children, my father-in-law, have been asked to enter information online for a pre-screening, for an appointment, pre-registration. You can't call the even for your car, for an auto mechanic, you have to go through a signal, and you have to know your account number or how to look yourself up in their system. And so while all of this is making us smarter, I think it really is, and more connected and giving us more access to information, it's requiring you to engage in your life and in the management of your life in a way that you could rely on other people to help you before. The next thing that's happening, and we all know this very well based on our various industries, is we have increased security and privacy concerns and regulations. So Dee started our meeting this morning by saying, she was woken up in the middle of the night with 4 messages from Microsoft, alerting her that someone was trying to access her account. And this is very, very common. I can tell you for the last 4 years, I have been breached more than once each year. And the breaches vary in did they get my password to my grocery store account, which I'm not terribly worried about, to having access to a bank account that had to be changed, and that I'm very worried about. And this data breach and bringing all of this data together makes people much more concerned about security and privacy. And we as professionals have to comply with HIPAA in healthcare, and FERPA in education, and financial privacy regulations in financial management. And it's a burden. It's a burden and a responsibility. As an individual, I love HIPAA, right? I love that my personal information is protected. I have control. As a caregiver, I hate HIPAA, right? It's hard. And so it's a double-edged sword. And then additionally, we're seeing caregiving demands growing as our population ages, and as our demographics change, we're seeing the number of available caregivers shrinking. So in 2010, there were 7 adults to care for every 1 adult needing care. And by 2030, that's projected to be only 4 to 1. So that's almost doubling the responsibility on an aging population. And as we are able to extend our lives, the care requirements increase as well. So, responsibility is increasing, demands are increasing, and the need to be more efficient and effective in managing care is never more important. We know about technology, but in the heat of the moment, you don't necessarily think about using it to solve that problem. And one of my own personal experiences with this, it was with my father-in-law, and I think some of you have heard me tell this story before, but we had been to see him on a Sunday, and I get a call on Monday in the middle of the workday, and he has put his toe through his sheets and wants to know if I can get him a new pair of sheets. And I, of course, and I'm walking to my next meeting, and he says, and I really love the flannel ones, and my favorite's red plaid. Okay, so July or June in Boise, red plaid flannel sheets. Oh dear, where am I going to find them? And I'm in my head, I am thinking I've got to go to JCPenney or maybe Bed Bath & Beyond, and who's going to have red flannel? And it finally occurred to me, oh my goodness, Amazon. I got the power right here. And on my way to my meeting, I found red flannel sheets. I had them shipped to his house the next day for free, and he thought I was a magician. So, but it didn't even occur to me, right? I do this, I talk about this, I train on this, and it's not a natural solution, right? We have to we have to make new habits and build technology. And why? And it's because the administrative burden. Family caregivers spend an average of 13 hours per month managing administrative tasks for a person in their care. And whether that is paying bills, settling health insurance claims disputes, managing that process, making appointments, managing paperwork, whatever the case may be, it's actually a lot. And 13 hours that is tucked in between, on the way to another meeting, in the car, on a cell phone. We're doing this and we're squeezing it in, and we don't even realize how much time it takes. And I know many of you will know this information, but I'll ask the question, who would like to remind us how long the family caregiving role usually lasts? Anyone remember? No? Latest statistics?
3 years.
The average is actually 4 years based on an AARP study. So 3 was pretty good guess. But averages are liars, as we all know. And to make that 4-year average, for 24% of the people, it's more than 5 years. And for 15%, it's more than 10 years. And so, 4, 5, 10 years of care at 13 hours a month is a lot of time. And in my work, and working with families, my goal is really to give them back that time from the administrative tasks of care to spending that time with their loved ones, doing things they would rather be doing with them. So in the work that I do in helping caregivers is helping them put together their toolkit. And I want to acknowledge your comment, Mary Holden, that the millennial caregivers and younger caregivers aren't using computers anymore. They're using smartphones. And that is true. Many of them, not all of them, but a lot of younger people don't even have a laptop. And it's not until they get into a job again that requires them to have a laptop that they may go back to having a laptop. So your engagement in technology has to be facilitated across whatever the technology medium is. So when you're thinking about the modern caregiving toolkit, which is what I talk about it, I want to first say the foundational element that you need in your toolkit is information, and putting together a family information organizer. And while I certainly have a bias towards a tool that helps you with technology to manage your family information, I absolutely always tell my clients, I don't care how you do it, I just care that you do it. And it's important that you find a system that works for you, whether it is a technology solution, a web-based solution, a paper-based solution. I do tell my clients if they want paper, they should invest in a trolley to carry around their paper with them from appointment to appointment. But the basis is the family information organizer. The second is really effective management of your electronic health records. And this goes back to the very first statements, in this presentation around what's happening with the automation of our data by our providers. And there's been billions of dollars invested in electronic health records, but interoperability is still, it feels like light years away. It's probably not light years away, but true interoperability and for the consumer is even further away. So we might get interoperability for our providers to be able to exchange information easily, but for us to be able to access that information easily as consumers is still further away. So making sure that you and your families and your clients have command of their electronic health records, are either using those effectively regularly or pulling information off of them regularly to put in their family information organizer is really important. And it's complicated because there are lots of them. And for my little family of 5, I had, with the addition of a new doctor that isn't on a standardized EHR, I now have 17 electronic health records systems and tools and logins that I have to manage to get the information I need. And I don't try to remember where I got that test or where that record is. As soon as that appointment is over and as soon as it's available, I pull that information down so I don't have to navigate and remember where it is later. The third tool is the smartphone and virtual apps on the smartphone, because this, we carry in the palm of our hands, and almost all of our clients, and I say almost because not all of them do and not all of them will, but almost all of our clients have now a smartphone. And And in these smartphones is technology that is more powerful than what was used to put the man on the moon. And I know that seems really trite, but it's true. And that is, we are all walking around with the most powerful toolkit in our toolbox and not using it to its full advantage. And some of the tools that I talk about, the most basic one is your phone. And phones aren't just for awesome shots of the food that we had at that restaurant or that our spouse barbecued, or for our dogs, our cats, and our kids and our grandkids. It's a great thing when I leave the pharmacy. The first thing I do is take a picture of the new pill bottle. On that pill bottle, it tells me, who prescribed it, what pharmacy filled it, how many refills I have, what the dosage is, and that picture is so easy to reference. Identification cards, those kinds of things that you need access to quickly, use your phone, take a picture. Calendars, shared calendars, shared grocery lists. In this day of we don't want to have to make unnecessary trips anywhere, whoever's at the store can make sure you pick up everything you need. But putting that toolkit together for caregivers so they're sharing responsibilities, using tools available to them, scanning documents directly from their phone. There's some really wonderful tools available, and I encourage my clients and you and your clients to really explore the power that's available in your phone and the ability to access that information. And then the final one, boy, this has really come a long way in the last 6-7 months, is digital tools and services. And the digital tools, we've mentioned them here today: telemedicine, telehealth, virtual banking, grocery delivery, Amazon. I don't know where I would be without Amazon Prime. Uber Eats, prescription delivery, Amazon Alexa, geolocation devices and tools. There are so many. The Internet of Things is coming together in giving us access to tools, resources, and capabilities. Doorbells. It's not Rome. The doorbell, right? The doorbell cameras.
Ring.
There's so many things that it's an explosion of technology, and what it really takes is just, okay, let me think about how I can solve that problem. And importantly, in this digital services and tools, I talk about the importance of the consultants to help you amplify them, to help you manage them. Your financial consultants are the ones who should advise you on how to best use your financial tools and digital banking and making sure they're secure. Professionals like Dee and care managers and can help people understand how to leverage tools and technology. And I believe we have a role to play as professionals in this space to help our clients be more effective and take advantage of these great technologies. And so as you think about the toolkit for yourself and your clients, what you want to make sure is that they have the permission that they need to care, the information that they need to manage the care, and the imagination that it takes to think about solving old problems in new ways. And if they do, they too can be an Amazon Prime magician. I mean, my father-in-law thinks I am brilliant, and it's just funny. But getting started really is the hardest part, and it's overwhelming, and it's overwhelming at a time when a caregiver is already overwhelmed. And so building that foundational element for the information that they need to effectively manage the care of their family. It's that, tried and true, terrible, the best way to eat an elephant is just one bite at a time. And you start by gathering and creating a system and a tool set. How are you going to capture that information? How are you going to manage that information? How are you going to share that information? And as Mary shared in my introduction, my entry into this space, really grew out of very, very personal experience, and my data diary part of my business and the family information solution that we created really came out of a need to find a solution for myself that I couldn't find. And my criteria are listed on the left. Your criteria may be different. Everybody has to look at this through their own lens. And as I've said before, and I tell my clients all the time, I have a tool they can use, but not all of my clients use my tool. If they're not comfortable with technology, we come up with another solution. It's not important how you do it or what tool you use. It's important that you do it. And the criteria that I established to think about for myself is I wanted complete information. I wanted a place where I could keep it all. And I wanted all to be integrated. I wanted health information, financial information, legal information in one place. And I didn't want to have to navigate 15 EHRs. I needed it to be secure because I am very conservative by nature and background. I have a finance background. I'm very concerned about data breaches. They're happening to me every year. I also needed it to be available to me. Prior to COVID, man, I wasn't in my office and home a lot. I was on the go. Right now, I have access to most of my information most of the day, but there will be a time again when we're back out and about and much more mobile, and I need that information to be available. I need it to be as up to date as possible and an easy way to keep it up to date. I need it to be shareable so that I can give it to my family members and my care companions who need that information. And because I said I did start my career in finance, I needed it to be affordable because at the core, I'm pretty cheap. So let's just be clear. I'll be honest. I love a deal. All right. So I started looking in the market, and I actually had 5 or 6 pamphlets that I had picked up from different professionals that I could have used. And I really tried to understand why I didn't use them. And again, it was because I couldn't update them easily and I couldn't keep them with me all the time. But for your clients who have a desire to do something in paper, there's some great workbooks, some great tools out there. You can buy this one on Amazon. It's fairly inexpensive. Caregivers Toolbox. It's a pretty good tool. It comes with some templates that you can print out. They range in price from, I don't know, $29.99 to or so, $19.99 to $59.99, depending on how comprehensive they are. But Caregivers Toolbox is the one that I've seen that I do recommend for paper in book form. There are some web-based solutions, and some of these are, mobile apps, certainly, and there's some really cool ones. Obviously, I use online banking with dual factor authentication. There's some other ones emerging out there around consolidation of health information. I was really hopeful with Microsoft Health Vault when they came out, but they retired that application because they couldn't make it work. They couldn't bring it all together in a consumer-focused way and put a business model around it that made sense. So it just remains on us to do this. But there are mobile apps available for certain types of solutions. There aren't any at this point that are comprehensive, complete, or integrated that I have found. There are point solutions, so healthcare, electronic health records, investment portals, right? They're helping you with a piece of the pie, but not the whole pie. They are very available, very up to date, shareable, they're web-based, and affordable. There are some end-to-end solutions, and I've watched this space pretty closely on the web. They are subscription solutions, and so they are complete. You can put all of your information there in differing formats and forms. They are integrated. I worry a lot about security on these. I've spent too much time in this space. I won't put my own information, all of it in the same place with one password. It just introduces too much risk into the world that I'm trying to manage, and the time cost of a data breach is huge. But for people who are less concerned about security, and they do exist, these are great solutions. They're available, they're up to date, they're shareable, but they do tend to be pretty expensive because they are subscription as a service. And while it might only be, $6.99, introductory, $9.99 a month, it's $6.99 or $9.99 a month forever. For as long as you use that solution and want to access your information. And then if you stop paying for it, or the company goes out of business, which actually there have been a couple that did, you lose your information. I mean, they'll let you download it, but you lose the interoperability of your information. There's local software solutions. So this is, when I say local, this is a software solution that you can purchase and put on a single computer and manage it from your home office or your office. The one that I know very well is Future File. The woman who created it, her name is Carol Roth, and she came to her experience through her father, and she created a very nice workbook and combined with local software that is complete, integrated, secure, not terribly expensive. I think her regular price is $199, and she usually offers a solution, a deal for $149, I think. The problem is it's on one computer, and so it's not mobile in any way, either with a laptop or your phone and things like that. And then the solution that we created, because I couldn't find one that ticked all my boxes, the My Data Diary solution that we have, if it is complete, integrated, secure, available, up to date, if you keep it up to date, and affordable. Look at this landscape of companies that are investing in developing technology for care, for caregiving, and to improve aging. And so thinking about where we're headed, where we are today, this 7 to 10 year acceleration in technology adoption because of coronavirus, and all of these technology innovations being invested in and explored, plus investments that we're seeing by big tech and retail with Amazon Health, Google Health, Apple Health Kit, Best Buy Health, Walmart Health. I mean, there is a huge investment here in figuring out how to provide the tools, the technology, the delivery systems to harness the power of technology to make aging better.